Checking out our channel here. This is going to be a little review video on this particular unit. It's a Gallagher M800, one of their current style, current generation units as of 2023. It came out with this version about 2018, I think it was, in the spring of that year when they launched this model. So they've been around 5.5, almost 6 years now. This model, we don't see a lot of these coming for repair. They typically don't have any problem with them. And the only thing that really ever gets them is lightning, and that's what got a hold of this one. Luckily, all it did to the unit was mess up the board. We got the board swapped out and tested everything else that was working fine, but every once in a while it would arc and pop on the inside, and it burnt up. The wire come up the transformer to the ground side was burnt, and it arced through when lightning hit it. So we redo the wiring on the transformer. The transformer itself was still good, putting out good power and everything. But we're going to test this unit, and we're going to use this meter here. This is going to tell us the kilovolts coming out of it based on what load we have hooked up to it, as well as those output joules of the unit. We can also look at the seconds, like how often is the thing clicking and pulsing. And this millisecond over here is for how long is a shock actually on the fence line itself. So it tells us quite a bit of information based on the four internal loads that this unit has. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to test it with no load hooked onto this. Will tell us just basically the wide open kilovolt reading. Now this unit is an 8 stored joule unit, which the stored joules is what is basically across the capacitors before it gets to the terminals, because the capacitor and the board have to discharge all the energy through the transformer, and depending on how efficient the transformer is and the internal resistance and impedance on the transformer, it will determine how much actual joules makes it through without being lost on its way down there. Just like horsepower on a car, or even say a tractor, you got a 50 horsepower tractor, 50 horsepower engine. On the tractor, well, you got PTO horsepower is always lower because you have all that parasitic loss between the drive shaft, the transmission, all that other stuff. So 50 horsepower at the engine might be 35, 40 at the PTO. So think of that when it comes to joules for stored versus output. So stored joules is 8. So I think Gallagher on their literature or their website says, I think, 4.9 output joules. So that will be determined off a certain load hooked up to it. We'll start off at a 500 ohm load, and we'll work our way down. 1000 ohm load really won't tell us much on this size unit. So let's get this hooked on here. We're going to take the leads here. We'll just use we'll rest it up right against there. We'll use the knob to kind of hold the terminals here. We'll hold the leads here of our meter. Yeah, I like these Gallagher units. I just don't like the price tag. They're on the expensive side of things. They are about a $400 unit as of 2023 pricing. I'm sure next year it'll go up, which would be a shame because everything else is going up on everything that you buy. So I'm sure they'll have a hell of a time trying to sell more of them. And keep the price down a little bit. Maybe they sell more of them. Let's turn this on. Right now we're set to kilovolts and joules, and we're on a 12,000 volt range, so it can read up to 12,000 volts. We'll turn this on, and then we'll turn charger on now. With no load on it, we're getting about 10,000 volts, and it's got it does have a little bit of load to it because it's reading 1.7 output joules. Well, let's move the load. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now we're on no load there. So now we're reading 10,000 volts, no load, no joules. So we'll take almost hit 11,000. So we've right around 10,000 volts out of it. Screw this over to that, and then we'll move this down to here. Now with a 500 ohm load, we're reading 4.8 kV at 2 joules at a 500 ohm load. So let's move this over to 200 ohm load. 3.6 joules at 3.6 kV at 3.5 joules. Let's go to 100 ohm. And we're at 2.5 kV at 3.8 joules. The only way to go any lower, I would have to use an external load, which I think those just came in. Let me go take a look. I think I got a 50 ohm and maybe a 75 ohm. I bought two of the lower ones online. Let me go look. Let me go turn this off real quick, and I'll go find those. Well, I got two resistors ordered, but only one has showed up so far. And this particular one, it's a big one, is a 300 watt, 75 ohm resistor. So it handles quite a bit of power. So you can see 300 watt, 75 ohm. So it's got these little ring connectors on it, which I don't care. What we're going to do is we'll stick it across here to here when we're on that, but we'll make sure to set it to 75 ohm. So we'll go put this over here, 72 that, and then I need to flip this switch over to here, which because that's two ranges of loads, range 1, range 2. So we're on range 1 right now, working with those red ones. We'll flip to the range 2, and then we got to follow this. So third one up. So we got to pick the third little dot there, which goes over to 75 ohm, and then we'll flip this on. So we were reading like what, 2.8 kV at like 3.5 joules. So we're going to stick this across here. Let's power this on. Jump. It went down some. We're at 2 kV at 3.5 joules. Let's flip this in the middle. Alright, and we're reading a better kV range. We're at 2.5. At 2.1 at about 4 joule output. So I imagine if we put a 50 ohm load, which I can't find. I thought it would have been here as well, but I didn't see it out there. But I think it's like a 4.9 joule output. So if we went to 50 ohms, put it underneath a little bit more stress, we might get that to come to 4.9 joules, or at least close to it, maybe 5. But that's what it's doing. Let's crank this up to 12 again and put this up to no load. And we're 10,000 volts again. Let's see how off this thing is pulsing. So let's flip this over to. So it pulses every 1.4 seconds. And the shock duration itself, when it's on the line, is only on for 0.08 milliseconds, which is 80 milliseconds. So pretty quick actual shock itself, not on for very long, and it's only happening every 1.5 seconds, 1.4, 1.5 seconds. But you don't want it a lot faster. Most of them are between 1.2 and 1.5. Very rarely do you get a 1 second or less fence charge. If you do, then that's a problem, especially with the low impedance that are controlled on the inside. Because if you don't want it too fast, because by the time the second pulse comes around, if it's too quick, it might end up zapping the animal second time before they ever get loose from the thing. You know, so you got to be. That's why manufacturers set them at about 1.2 to 1.5 seconds on average. Well, that's a little information for you. Turn this off. I'll unhook this. So, but overall, I like these Gallagher units. I don't like the price tag of their stuff. They're kind of on the excessive side of price. But they've always been high-end, high-dollar stuff. Even 40 years ago, they were expensive back then. But you kind of get what you pay for a little bit with these. These are very reliable units. This one got hit by lightning. It's an early version. It's a 2018 model. First, 16th week of 2018. So one of the first ones that was built and sold here in the States. I think it was 2018 of that spring is when they came out with them. So this is an early version unit. And the good thing is you can take parts for a brand new one. We'll go right in this one. If there's been any changes from a 2023 to a 2018, I think there's been much change at all. They've been basically the same for the last 5-6 years. But they're good units. I mean, like I said, the build quality is pretty good. They got pretty sophisticated boards on the inside, heavy-duty transformers, and really good transformers. So capacitors and transformers are really good. Boards about the only thing that really goes bad, and all the ones that we've seen, which hasn't been very many of these, maybe a dozen or probably half a dozen between 6 and 12 of these things that we've worked on the last like 5-6 years, and every one of them was lightning down, some power surge, something like that. I've never seen one just go bad randomly. There's always been something that's caused it, so to go bad. So, but yeah, if you got one of these, take care of it. It is it does say on here, inside use only. So if you got them outside, not protected from the weather, and they can get rain on it, you're risking water getting in there. And of course, warranty does not cover water damage. It covers lightning and random failure, stuff like that. But overall, they're good units. If you want to buy once, cry once, get the Gallagher, exclude lightning. If you're not really worried about that too much, it might go 10+ years on the thing. If you are worried about lightning, you'll get one of these. They do have a 3-year lightning warranty on their stuff, but I would consider getting like a surge protector off of Amazon or whatever. You get those pretty cheap, about $10-12 on Amazon. I would consider getting a lightning diverter for the fence and ground side, not a lightning arrestor. Those are kind of a one-hit wonder. Get a lightning diverter, and I think the easiest one to install and set up is Gallagher. That is theirs. I mean, you use that on any brand, but theirs is about $30 for, give or take, one of their lightning diverters. But easy to install. You can adjust the gap on the fly. You don't have to worry about walking back and forth and turn the fence charger on and off. You can do it while everything's hooked up and running. You do it with a screwdriver. It's real easy to do. So, but anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, we'd be happy for you to do that. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. And until next time, see you guys later on.